Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Is this thing going? We recording? Do I have too much reverb on? I can't fix it. Anyway, there's about 2 minutes left in the third quarter. I'm done. I've been done since the first drive. I went and I walked 3 miles and just checked it on the ESPN app and came back, rewound the DVR a little bit. I just thoroughly disgusted by I got to change this vocal. I guess you can't do it live. So this is how the pod's going to sound tonight, all right? With the reverb or whatever's going on here. I am thoroughly disgusted. Like, I cannot believe how bad the team regressed tonight. If you follow me, you follow my stuff, you hear me on other podcasts, I didn't call for them to win tonight. Not even close. And if you go back on my timeline from this afternoon, I said they'd lose by 30. But I didn't expect them to embarrass themselves again. Embarrass themselves, their coaches, the fans, the community, everybody that roots for these kids. They have zero heart. Well, from the first drive until now, like they're fighting. 2 guys have already been kicked out of the game. They look like dopes. They look like morons. Manny does not look like a head coach. Yes, Clemson's good. Yes, they're the best team in the country and have it firing on all cylinders. That's not the problem. The problem is Miami folded in the first drive. They have no heart. They panicked. Manny is a panicker. They look at their head coach. He's panicking. The offensive coordinator is waving his arms and yelling at guys on the field. Calm down. This is amateur hour here. These guys can't even get basics and fundamentals done. They don't even attempt to run the ball like in the first quarter, up until the first half. Like, don't even try it. You're down by 7, you're down by 14. Don't even try to run the ball. There are plenty of teams across the country with far less talent on paper than Miami that would be able to line up and run the ball for positive yardage against Clemson. They're not going to run all over them, but they'll be able to execute a play that gets 2 or 3 yards. What is Manny doing? He's not going to get fired this year. No coach is getting fired this year with all this bullshit going on. But he don't last the 21 season. Do you know they're going to get stomped by 70 by Alabama the first game? Like, this team has not gotten any better. I knew the defense would regress. I called that last year. I was like, 2020 will be worse than 2019. They're losing the linebackers, pass rush, all that stuff. Man, there's like 15 starters on this team that are punks that have no heart. Like, how can the wide receivers be that sorry? I mean, by nature, wide receivers are sorry little whining complainers. Skinny, they're like half-track dudes. They think they're way cooler than they are. But for the most part, they're chumps. All receivers are chumps, with the exception of like Mike Irvin and Jerry Rice and like 5 other guys that have played throughout history. But the rest of them, Antonio Bryant and Antonio Brown and Antonio Callaway and all the Antonios, dude, those are not the guys. They're not leaders. Dez Bryant, Odell Beckham, like those guys do not make your team better. And worse is the Miami guys don't even catch the ball. Like, not only are they little and way overhyped, they don't catch the ball and don't have ball skills to come back and moss somebody or to even protect their own quarterback. They kind of just stand there like, oh, it didn't come right to my numbers? Oh, man. What a disappointing night for the Canes. Not disappointing because they lost. I'm more realistic than all of you. I predicted a 30-point loss. But at some point, you have to have composure. You have to be able to field a punt. I mean, this is ridiculous. This guy, Manny, is not a head coach. The biggest problem he has is tonight, they sit there and Herb Street and Fowler can dole out the compliments to Clemson and kind of save, the scorn for Manny. Instead of beating up on Manny, they're praising Clemson, which is cool because Clemson's really good. I don't hate on Clemson for being good. You don't, unlike in politics, you don't hate the person that beats you for beating you. You hate your team for losing. But political nerds have it flipped, where they think their opposition is their enemy. No, your own team is your own enemy. This team, I said it when I was on the Fours Up podcast with Marsh and Jordan. I was like, I want to see fundamentals. I want to see. So, okay, I get it. Clemson's good, and they'll break you down where you don't have fundamentals. No. Punt returns, Clemson is not so talented that you can't return a punt on them. Where you don't know what to do. Where you're getting two guys with blatant targeting. And not even knocking the guy out of the game. Dude, if you're going to target, you might as well go as hard as you can and try to scramble the guy. Because either way, you're getting thrown out of the game. If it's just a nudge or a little bit of like, man, I'm so mad, he got me by half a second, and you lay into him, these kids can't even channel their own rage for their own benefit. The bad from tonight, number one, they have no heart, and they have no composure. And I don't know, how do you fix that? Like, there's obviously zero leadership on the team whatsoever. And a 5'9" quarterback, that's a tall order for him. You know, he got pretty much exposed tonight. Like, run a basic offense? It's not a gimmick offense? They can't do that. They can't line up in the eye and run the football. So they have a 5'9" guy rolling out and just throwing pick after pick. I don't blame him. You got to take risks. You know what I mean? Miami should have onsided after they kicked the field goal. Like, did they really think, like, yeah, we'll probably get a couple stops and, yeah. Manny Diaz, the Seminole, the production assistant. Man, I am fired up. I'm so pissed. I'm not pissed that we lost. I knew we were going to lose to Clemson. I just didn't want the team to look like there were bigger doofuses than the team that lost to FIU. And they do. They do. They just don't have any heart. They quit. They folded in the first drive. They couldn't keep it together for the first drive. The kid goes offsides. Well, first down, and they score a touchdown. And then the game's over. Now, trust me, that's not a talent disparity. That's coaching. That's composure, that's heart, that's experience, that's leadership. Like jackasses, because they're trying to be tough guys on the field. Dude, you can't be a tough guy losing 35-10, getting targeting penalties. What a friggin' disappointment. And I really don't see it. They'll fold from here on out. You know that. Like, I know the prevailing positive attitude will be people like, no, they'll come together. This will make them stronger losing like this. And they'll get it together, and next week they play Pitt. Pfft, you know what's going to happen next week. This team's totally disinterested. You know why? Because these fools, they probably actually thought they had a shot at winning the national championship. Which is straight delusion. And we got fans that believe that too. What the hell happened here to my beer? Jesus. Not a good night. I got electronics over here. I can't be having leaks. Hold on a sec. I got beer, I got vodka. Jesus. And the game's not even over. This is like the fourth quarter. I've already turned the sound off. I'm done. I'm over it. I've seen enough. They're not serious about running the football. They seriously thought that little quarterback was going to run the football. Like, yeah, we don't need to run it with Cam. Derek will be able to make some plays. That's not real football. And it's certainly not real football against Clemson. We're lucky they weren't targeting our quarterback because this dude would be sitting in Jackson Memorial. He's going to get knocked out of a game. He's tiny. We don't have it. They can't put Perry in for a series to see maybe the little different energy, a different spark. I want to see it. I want to see what do they say, with the same energy. I want to see you guys defend Derek King this week and Cam. Biggest game you ever play in. Biggest game you ever will play in. Just don't show up. First drive, you're already out. You're done. You lost in the first drive of a football game when you actually thought you were good. In a nationally televised game again. I mean, who looks like the bigger fraud now? The Gators, who lost at noon, which Miami will probably lose next week at noon, or UCF that lost to Tulsa that no one even saw because those games aren't even on TV. And then Miami gets the big shot. Third game day in a row. What uniforms are they? Oh, man, they're wearing the green pants. Opening drive, they fold. I want to see those positive energy tweets this week, though. I want to see everybody tell me I'm wrong. Keep doing it. You can go all through my timeline. There's a whole bunch of nonsense on there, and there's a whole bunch of from earlier in the year and from last year that 2020 is going to be worse than 2019. Mark my words. They should have fired Manny Diaz after that FIU game. Nobody comes back from that. Nobody. I'm going to post that picture again of Butch with his fake ass, something about Mary teeth, smiling, and Manny looking like he just shit his pants. Worse, shitting your pants happens. Miami losing to FIU, that shouldn't happen. What an embarrassment for this program and a setback. And then, you know what will happen? The recruits will start jumping ship. This team can't hold it together for a single season and just look decent. I'm not saying win the national championship. I'm not even saying win the ACC. But just have a year where you don't get kicked in the nuts on national television and completely, piss your pants in front of the whole nation and look like fools with multiple targeting penalties and a bunch of other dumb plays. Send that quarterback right back to Houston. That dude's worthless. Wow, you looked crazy against the worst FSU team of the last 30 years, or whoever else we played. And then tonight, you looked like a frigging chihuahua. Like standing on his tippy toes, trying to see, is he open? Then there's another interception. Still in shotgun, of course. Don't ever commit to running the ball. Oh, you're going to run it like handing it to a guy that's flat-footed, right? Man, he looks like a complete jackass with that mask on. I told you guys I don't wear masks. You know why I don't wear masks? It's not because I don't believe in the mask. I believe in the mask. I just don't wear the mask because I don't come within 25 yards of people during a plague. You comprehend that? No, I'm not sitting in the elbow room with a mask on during a plague. I just avoid people. But, the people that still have to work and go out and everything, they so resent those of us that don't. That's almost like a damn hate crime. Damn, those people that don't have to go out, I hate them. So, Marsh, whoever, I don't know who I sent my preseason prediction to. Was it OBB? Was it Fours Up? I forget. But was it 5-7? You know what I mean? Like, I'm the only one on Twitter that's not reactionary. I've been right the whole time since Twitter came online. None of you guys have Twitter accounts older than mine. Please, if your Twitter account is older than mine, at me and let me know. Since Twitter has been on, like, before you even waste your time and go and looking, but if you weren't tweeting Devin Hester kick returns in college, get out of my face. You got nothing. And since about 2006, 2007, it's just been bad for the Miami Hurricanes, and it's just been getting worse, and it culminated again tonight. Like, we learned nothing the last 3 weeks. Nothing. The test was tonight, and it wasn't binary. It wasn't win or lose. It was look like you belong. Don't embarrass yourself like the last 2 times. At one point during the game, it was the cumulative score of the last 3 matchups was 110-3. And then, wow, Miami made it 110-6. Dude, sorry, man. And you guys are going to be like, oh, Doc, he's all negative. Dude, I'm more positive than you guys if there's something to be positive about. But I can't be a cheerleader. This is a setback. In the offseason, I gave it a chance. I backed off Manny. I dropped the whole FIU thing. So I'm giving this guy a clean slate. I didn't like how the beginning of the season went. They just, sloppy again, poor fundamentals. They've, muffed kicks in every game. You don't win doing that. You sure as shit don't win against Clemson muffing kicks. King's still the quarterback. Still in the shotgun. Yeah, like a 4-yard run. None of our running backs look like Etienne. But trust me, there were guys in the offseason that tell me they did. Oh, dude, we got this. Dude, Rooster, did you see him? He only got run down by 10 yards by a safety. Psh, Rooster. Rooster, transfer portal on us up out of here. Second and 7. Oh, wow, good run down to the 4. You guys will like that play. That was a good one. We're probably going to score here. So, I don't know if I'm going to continue on podcasting because it's just going to be like this every week. Because, trust me, this team is going to lose games that they shouldn't lose. They deserve to lose tonight. We all agree on that. Clemson's great. Miami isn't. But then, they have to play North Carolina, a basketball school. That's terrifying for these kids. I mean, can you imagine our receivers sleeping the night before knowing that they have to go up against North Carolina defensive backs? And our offensive line knowing they're going to face a North Carolina pass rush? You guys seen I posted a thing where they wanted me to do a sponsor, like a mid-podcast, like read a script about some manscaping thing. Manscaping thing. Like, yeah, we've seen your podcast or heard your podcast, and we think that you'd be great for... Dude, you think I'd be great for your manscaping widget? Now, obviously, you guys don't follow me because you are the nerds that I abuse. So no, nobody's sponsoring this thing. I'm not going into sponsorship with nerds. I'm not taking sponsors on this podcast. You know what I mean? I know you guys, a lot of guys out there like to fake hate the media because you've been brainwashed and told to hate the media for 30 years. Hate celebrities, hate the media, hate celebrities, hate the media. And people fell for it. But the biggest problem with the media is like now Manny will go on 560 with Joe Rose when nobody that's of any significance is up and listening because he goes on at like 6:30 in the morning. What he should be doing is going on the podcasts. Okay, not necessarily mine, but he should go on the more serious podcasts. But there's no way because he's contractually obligated to go on 560 because they carry the games. So Rose and DBJ and those people, they're never going to... That's not real media. That's fluff media. That's yellow journalism. That's puff piece. That's horrendous. Manny should go on, at least the local blogs, at least for 15 or 20 minutes. But I don't think he's going to be around too much longer. Because he sucks. Okay? This is not a complex game. If you can look at the morons that have had huge success in football, then you know that it doesn't take superior intelligence to win football games. It just takes discipline. Like none of these guys, you see, God, ESPN and the nerds fall for all these offense coordinators and the kid from the Rams and Schottenheimer and this one and that one, and they think they're all geniuses, except that shit never works for more than 10 games. Oh, wow, they're really struggling this year. Pfft. Yeah, because the smart guys are on defense. Rhett Lashley. Dude, nerds should never be in charge in football. It's a contact sport. All right, I paused for a second. De'Ara King scored on the scramble. Not real football, like just Sandlot. Okay, kid, go out there and save all our asses. We can't run a real play, so can you please, beat Clemson's defense for 6 yards and a touchdown by yourself? I know I've talked about it before, but is there anything sorrier in life than a weak offensive lineman? Just like a big doofus that can't get his job done, that lets everybody down. I'm sorry, guys. He's too fast for me. I wear size 19 shoes. It's illegal for me and my father to both go to the same restaurant together. Get the hell out of here. Like, I don't know how many of you guys actually played football because, for one, the amount of guys on Twitter that jock wide receivers and think wide receivers are cool is way too high. Like, on no football team that I've ever been a part of, and I played Broward County football, so you know what that means. That's serious ball. But at no point was there ever a wide receiver on one of the teams that was cool. There were a whole bunch that thought they were cool and told everybody they were cool and acted like they were cool, but they were dweebs. They were suckers. And they knew it and everybody else knew it. And then the next set of guys that aren't cool are O-line. Because they're just disgusting, farting slobs. They're worried about what they're going to eat next. And they're farting a lot. And they stink. And you don't want them to step on your feet. And they have like foghorn voices. So if you go to a nice restaurant with one or two of them, like that bass just takes over any room. Even when they whisper, hey guys, I was like, no. Dude, I don't hang out with receivers. I don't hang out with O-line. And since tight ends are like half O-line, I don't hang out with them either. So right now the score isn't that bad. It's whatever, 35-17. I've got my back to the TV as I do this podcast for you guys. All the other podcast nerds will be doing their podcast tomorrow morning, sober. I'm here after like, God, I don't know, 18 beers, probably half a bottle of vodka. But I don't know. I kind of expected this. I didn't expect the level of incompetence to continue. I thought they'd somewhat get it together. Of course, Clemson imposing their will on you will cause you to look incompetent, but not to this degree. Like Miami just shot themselves in the foot at least a dozen times or more, 15 times. Yeah, I mean, I'm not penalizing them for the big ATN runs or the big plays on offense, because that's Clemson. They're good. ATN's good. But just the dumb stuff, man, the lining up offsides, the targeting, the interceptions, the receivers not fighting for the ball. And just this is a really disappointing night for the Canes. So, I don't know. Maybe you guys talk me off the ledge. Hit me up, tell me, no, they're going to get it together for Pitt. They're going to look focused. They're going to look fundamental. They're going to look well coached. You know, like, okay, the kid's scoring on the scoop block field goal. That's fantastic. We all get excited. But you don't coach that. That's a fluke play. Who knows somebody's going for a 61-yard field goal on your ass because they know your offense can't move the ball. Sure, try a 61-yarder on them. Man, Dabo is a yokel. I mean, that goober, what do I call him? The slack-jawed hill jack? Hey, that one's on me. That was on me. You know, hey, if there's anybody going to have to take the blame here, it's going to be me because I shouldn't have called that. You know, see, making them on practice all week long up to 60 yards. Giggity. Like, okay, I can see the defense, whatever, struggling with Etienne. Our defense sucks and has no playmakers on it whatsoever. But letting Trevor Lawrence run the ball? Letting a quarterback? You're getting multiple targeting calls, and you can't knock a dude out of the game? Seabiscuit Lawrence is coming down the stretch on your ass. He's looking rather hoarse. Whatever. Big disappointment. Big disappointment. So I just wanted to get this rage pod out to you guys. I wanted to be able to record while the emotions were raw and while I was still feeling exactly what I was feeling. And on a couple of beers and on a couple of shots of vodka. So if I'm slurring or I sound stupid or whatever. Who gives a shit? It's podcast. There's not even a sponsor on here. I'm not even taking sponsors. So if you don't like it, unsubscribe. If you like it, hit subscribe. You know? I'll always be upfront with you guys. I'm not going to do sponsors on here, and I'll let you know exactly how many listens I'm getting. Happy to announce I have 1,000 listens now. 1,000 listens of me on the podcast. Can you believe that? Because if you know anything about like compound interest and growth patterns and Fibonacci and that kind of stuff, like it's only a matter before I have 10,000. And then it'll start growing exponentially. The best thing you can do if you want to have success with my podcast, is just share it along your social media. Just be like, wow, man, did you hear this Canes fan? This guy's lost it. He lost it in the third quarter and just started broadcasting live. So if you do like it, hit subscribe, share, comment, hit me up on Twitter, @BetterDuck. Tell those other podcast nerds, hey, have Better Duck on your podcast. Because I think there's some shit going on. I think they're like trying to get me out. But anyway, I'm going to do a formal wrap-up probably Monday or Tuesday on my thoughts on this Clemson game, which isn't so much of a rage pod. I'll try to lose the squeaky chair. I got a lot going on. I don't know why there's this much reverb. But I don't know. So, in conclusion, fire Manny Diaz. Send these portal transfer dudes right back in the portal transfer from where they came from. And try to get it together. Try to find a running back. Try to be able to run the ball. If you could run the ball, the Chihuahua quarterback would actually look good. Okay, well, that's it. Game over, and I'm going to upload this thing. Thanks for listening if you listened this long, and go Canes.